Coming up next on This Week in Torrance, Governor Brown visits in support of Al Muratsuchi's bid for re-election.
Meanwhile, a committee at the Torrance City Council meeting announces its stance on state and local ballot measures.
Plus, as Breast Cancer Awareness Month winds down, Torrance businesses and even pet owners join the effort to battle the disease.
And farmers team up with the group Food Forward, helping to feed local families in need.
These stories and much more are just seconds away.
Your local news starts right now.
Hello everyone and welcome to This Week in Torrance. I'm Chun.
And I'm Julie Chan, filling in for Ben McCain. Thanks for joining us. Here are your top stories.
Governor Jerry Brown made a visit to Torrance, supporting Assemblymember Al Muratsuchi as he prepares for Election Day 2014. Laura Fong was there and has this story.
It's not every day the governor of California comes to Torrance, so dozens of supporters and local leaders came out to welcome Governor Jerry Brown to Assemblyman Al Muratsuchi's campaign headquarters in North Torrance.
4 more years! 4 more years!
He could be anywhere in California, and with only a week left of his re-election, Governor Brown chose Torrance as one of his last stops to show his support for Assemblyman Muratsuchi.
Muratsuchi. Brown's a lot easier to say, but without Muratsuchi, we're not going to get it done.
The governor turned up the excitement as he rallied voters to support Proposition 1 and 2 and endorsed Muratsuchi's re-election, in part to keep the Democratic majority in Sacramento.
The governor and I, we've been working across party lines to get things done. You know, a balanced budget. We're working on reviving the economy and bringing back jobs. We've restored over $10 billion in funding for our schools, and I want to keep working with the governor for the California comeback.
With important issues on the November 4th ballot and many elected officials to keep or put in office, Assemblyman Muratsuchi reminds voters to head to the polls next week.
We have to remember that our vote, our right to vote, is something that men and women have fought for and sacrificed their lives for, and we can't take it for granted.
And while voters think about who the best candidates are, the governor had a message for any concerned Republicans.
Don't worry about sending a good Democrat to Sacramento, because he's going to work with the Republicans, and when we're in the majority, they see more clearly than otherwise.
Governor Brown ended his speech with a joke about his own campaign for re-election.
So what more can I say? Because I've already said more than I've said in the entire campaign. Because to me, you got to make it short and simple, right? Save water, save money, yes on one, yes on two, save California. Thank you.
For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Laura Fong.
Thanks, Laura. Muratsuchi is one of 55 Democrats in California's 80 assembly seats.
Governor Brown's visit comes just 1 week before voters decide on the propositions he supports. Prop 1 will support his 20% water usage reduction goal, granting over $7 billion to improve the state's water supply infrastructure. $2.7 billion of that total will go to water storage projects, dams, and reservoirs. Prop 2 is known as California's Rainy Day Budget Stabilization. A yes vote on 2 outlines new budget rules for lawmakers aimed at paying existing state debts faster. In total, there are 6 statewide propositions for California voters to decide on.
With voting day on the horizon, Torrance's Council Advocacy Committee took stances on 1 statewide and 1 LA County ballot measure. In the city's October 28th council meeting, members of the committee announced they will oppose California Proposition 47, which reduces the classification of many non-violent property and drug crimes if approved. Members of the committee support LA County's Proposition P, which would impose a new $23 parcel tax to be used for neighborhood and regional parks and recreation in LA County. The Safe Neighborhoods Park Tax measure was established in '92, and it generates about $54 million a year. And Prop P would simply extend that tax another 30 years. If approved, 15% of those funds will go toward maintaining clean county beaches. The committee also discussed local measures T and U, supporting both measures if approved. They would send more than $190 million combined in bonds to the Torrance Unified School District.
Citizens looking for a little bit of voting day help will have some useful resources thanks to Microsoft Bing and Google. The popular web search engines are providing election portals for the 2014 election day, which handle everything from locating your poll to what exactly is on the ballot for your area. At bing.com/election, voters can find Bing Predicts, updated data predicting who will win elections throughout the day. Google's voter information tool, introduced in 2012, even provides links to candidates' social media sites, among other features. Google also partnered with Foursquare and AT&T to create a mobile app for their voter tool.
Employees of some of the top global media giants are bracing themselves for some tough news ahead. Employees of HBO in Los Angeles and New York were recently informed of future layoffs. HBO is the smallest of Time Warner's 3 divisions. Company-wide, Time Warner is expected to shed about 2,600 positions, or about 10% of its workforce, by the end of November. Time Warner employees aren't alone. Turner Broadcasting, which includes CNN, TNT, TBS, and the Cartoon Network, already announced that it would cut more than 1,400 positions. Turner has more than 13,000 employees worldwide. Now, Burbank-based Warner Brothers is also expected to trim approximately 1,000 positions as it prepares to slash its budget by $200 million. Warner Brothers has about 8,000 employees and is Hollywood's largest film and television production studio.
Cities throughout the state are banding together to say no to a new kind of parking app, offering drivers coveted parking spaces, but for the right price. Monkey Parking, the name of a new app along with Park Moto and Sweech, allows drivers leaving a parking space to alert other motorists nearby that the spot is available. But it'll cost you. City officials throughout the state are working to ban those apps, citing that individuals and companies should not be allowed to profit by auctioning off taxpayer-owned parking places. San Francisco's city attorney issued a cease and desist order to the 3 companies, stating their police code prohibits the buying, selling, or leasing of public street parking spaces. Monkey Parking also set its sights on Beverly Hills and Santa Monica, where city council members also voted to keep them out.
The UFC gym in Torrance rallied members from around Torrance to wrap up Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The local gym encouraged its 10,000 members to raise $1 to be donated to the Avon Foundation for breast cancer treatment. The challenge, a cardioathon, where members joined one of the gym's special classes or pledged to work out on their favorite piece of cardio equipment for a full hour. Later in the day, the gym held a viewing of UFC's pay-per-view fight and made it free to the public. They also auctioned off Ultimate Fighting Championship clothing and gloves signed by current UFC fighter and South Bay local Lyoto Machida, among other items. Altogether, an estimated $2,000 was raised. According to the American Cancer Society, 40,000 women will die from breast cancer this year. It's the leading form of cancer and the second highest cause of cancer-related deaths in women, behind lung cancer. The UFC gym is still promoting donations on behalf of the Avon Foundation. To make a donation online, visit avonfoundation.org.
Meanwhile, across town, dogs were out and about at Wilson Park for the 3rd annual Bark for Life event. Held to raise money for cancer research and to promote awareness about the disease, dogs and their owners walked for the cause for a few hours with the first lap led by cancer survivors. There were games and a costume contest for the canines, while local businesses had booths set up. Harbor Animal Hospital was there offering free fall photos for dogs and their owners to remember the special day. With the support of thousands of volunteers and events like this one, the American Cancer Society has helped save more than 400 lives a day. Be sure to tune in to the next episode of Canine Corner to get the full coverage of this event.
Honda has brought some creativity to Halloween, offering people a way to get some candy without knocking on doors. As one Honda executive said, innovation is at the heart of our brand. Why not look at innovating something as fun as trick-or-treating? So they invited all ghouls, goblins, ghosts, and other costume creatures to tweeting Honda a photo of themselves in costume with the hashtag #TreatPromo in order to receive a reply with a coupon for some free Mike and Ike candy, along with a link to a Spooky Vine video. The video series included 5 different features of Honda's CR-V, opening up the door for trick-or-treaters.
SLI Systems conducted a Halloween costume survey to see which costumes were most popular this year. They studied over 1 million site searches, including mid to large size internet retailers, with characters from the movie Frozen topping the list of 15 most searched themes in 2014. 7 of the survey's top 15 costume themes came from Hollywood films, including this year's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and another kid's favorite, Despicable Me. The timeless classics like zombies, pirates, and witches all held their place in the top 10. If you have a Halloween costume you're excited to share with This Week in Torrance, you can share it with us on Facebook. We'll announce a winner of our own Best Costume contest on next week's show. That's facebook.com/thisweekintorrancetv.
Well, still ahead, the Torrance Rose Float Association and Elks Lodge come together to save the city's 2015 Rose Float.
And how the Torrance Farmers Market is getting in on the spirit of giving well before the holidays arrive.
Introducing a breakthrough in time management technology. A whole new day of the week. It's called Someday. Ingenious. Perhaps someday you are going to go skydiving. Enter a hot dog eating contest. Maybe ride a mechanical bull. Now it's on the calendar. You may want to retire someday. Ready for that? You'll really want this. A My Social Security account at socialsecurity.gov. You can estimate your future benefits, plan for your retirement, and how to save for it. If you already receive benefits, you can manage them online. Millions of people already have a My Social Security account. In fact, someone opens one about every 6 seconds. Get yours today, because someday is here at socialsecurity.gov.
Welcome back. Fundraising in the form of Halloween and dinner. Members of the local Elks Lodge and the Torrance Rose Float Association partnered up to raise much needed money. Here's Laura Fong with the story.
So we got a payment coming up on November 1st, and the city has asked us, are you going to be able to make the payment? And we're going, yeah, but just barely. But we are. We're going to make it.
The Halloween spirit took over the Elks Lodge in Torrance to keep a 100-year-old tradition alive. Georgine Griswold is the vice president of the Torrance Rose Float Association, and she is grateful for the support.
Well, it's so great that another nonprofit organization is helping our nonprofit organization.
The two teamed up to raise money for this year's float honoring the late Louis Zamperini. The City Council was able to contribute $100,000, but that still left the group in need of $70,000 for the entrance fee and other expenses.
The float is $150,000. There are 150,000 people in Torrance. There are 12,000 businesses. It shouldn't be that hard. You know, we should be able to save this.
Lynn Robinson is the secretary of the association, and she says this float is for the people of Torrance.
We really need the community to support it. It's the community's float. As much as we think it's ours, it's not. It's the community's float. It's terrific publicity for the city of Torrance.
And the Elks Lodge showed their support by hosting the Halloween Haunt. They served dinner to about 80 people and held a raffle and a silent auction.
It's just fabulous. We have always done all of our own fundraising, so it's really nice to have somebody else take the lead and let us just help.
With the new year just 2 months away, the association says every dollar counts. For Torrance City Cable, I'm Laura Fong.
Thanks, Laura. The Tournament of Roses Association announced the City of Torrance as one of its 39th float entries this week. Fiesta Parade floats will be teaming up with the City of Torrance again. About $6,000 was raised at the event, going towards Torrance's float.
With the holiday season right in front of us, farmers at the Torrance Farmers Market are diving headfirst into the spirit of giving. Laura Fong has the story of their partnership with the nonprofit Food Forward.
It's another regular Saturday afternoon at the Torrance Farmers Market as hundreds of shoppers seek out the freshest produce. But what happens to fruits and veggies that no one wants?
Being a farmer, I mean, hate to see anything go to waste, so especially product that somebody can consume, and I don't like it one bit, to be honest with you.
Ken Lee is a fruit farmer from Fresno who donated some of his unsold produce to a nonprofit group called Food Forward.
We recover produce and food that would otherwise go to waste and donate 100% of it to food insecure individuals and people in need in the community.
Sarah Natalini is with Food Forward, and today they collected 462 pounds of unsold produce from 19 different farmers.
It's really a tragedy because one of the biggest issues with our food system is not that there's not enough of it, it's really a matter of the distribution.
No matter the statistic, Americans waste food every day, and there are families in need of that food. It's organizations like Food Forward that take the produce and bring it to the table. Once Food Forward collects all the donations, they weigh and distribute all the boxes to local organizations to give the fresh food out to individuals and families in need.
I do what I can to, support them because, they're working hard to, have a goal and they want to help the needy. So, for me, I hate to see food get wasted. So I do my part, and whatever I can contribute, I do so.
Food Forward began this project at the Torrance Farmers Market 6 months ago, and from today's collection alone, they were able to provide 670 meals. For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Laura Fong.
Thanks, Laura. The Torrance Farmers Market is held Tuesday and Saturday mornings from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Wilson Park.
The Madrona Marsh is Torrance's beneficiary of the annual Make a Difference Day. Many students gathered with Mayor Fury at the city's preserve to take part in the nation's largest single day of volunteering and community service. Make a Difference Day has been held on the fourth Saturday of October for over 20 years now, with the simple objective of improving the lives of others. Volunteers gathered at the Madrona Marsh to do everything from clear out old weeds to planting and maintaining the marsh's native plants. Throughout the day, they were given a tour and history of the marsh, which is still used as an outdoor botany lab by El Camino College. The high number of Torrance's youth on hand for the day of service brought praise and enthusiasm from volunteers.
You've got, it looks like about 60, 70 volunteers out here doing rehabilitation on the marsh. Well, I'm proud of them. I'm just an old graybeard. I do the best I can, but to see the future still involved, it brings great gladness to my heart.
For anyone who missed Make a Difference Day, the Friends of Madrona Marsh holds a habitat restoration starting at 8:45 each Saturday morning.
Torrance City officials joined local shoppers at the grand opening of a new business called Sage Goddess. CEO Athena Parakis brings her business to Torrance from Northern California, where she developed a large online and social media following of more than 70,000 fans and clients. More than just a place to buy gems and stones, Sage Goddess features a healing room, a meditation room, among other places where customers can do everything from stock up on scented candles to drinking tea. Parakis and her husband are both South Bay natives and said when they decided to bring Sage Goddess to Southern California, they didn't consider any other city besides Torrance.
So we just love knowing that we brought this beautiful place here, that it's supporting and nourishing the community, and we're going to be here for a long time. This is our permanent home.
To my knowledge, this is the first of this type, so I think it was kind of a great idea for them to come here, a whole new customer base of people who appreciate what they can provide, and that's why they're here.
Sage Goddess is located at 3830 Del Amo Boulevard, just west of Hawthorne Boulevard.
Every month, people from all over Southern California come to see the Torrance Antique Street Fair, but this month it was a little more special than usual. Aside from the Halloween festivities, the street fair celebrated its Sweet 16. The fair was introduced in downtown Torrance in 1998 when the city spent $45 million to renovate the area. Since then, it's given new life to a historic area of the city that used to be a shopping hub in the beach cities as far back as the early 1900s. The first street fair created for local merchants to return the area to its shopping destination roots featured 25 vendors. Now, 16 years later, over 180 vendors participate in the monthly event. November's Torrance Antique Street Fair will take place on Saturday, November 28th, right after Black Friday. Well, still ahead, a local council member is leading from the front in California's water conservation efforts.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
I think it goes around.
Let's go. We gotta get you in practice.
And it's set! The mom role is a lot easier when you have a script to follow. I learned that firsthand the day my son had a life-threatening allergic reaction or anaphylaxis. Anaphylaxis can happen when someone comes into contact with their allergic triggers. It can happen anywhere and at any time. So you have to do all you can to learn the signs and symptoms and know which allergens to avoid. Know your role by being prepared and learn what you can do to take action if anaphylaxis occurs. Learn more at anaphylaxis101.com.
Welcome back. As concerns grow over California's drought, one way residents can save water while making money is to take advantage of turf rebate programs. Laura Fong shows us how a local council member is doing just that.
City Councilman Tim Goodrich tore out his lawn, leaving behind nothing but dirt, and it's all for a good reason.
In this time of drought, we need to conserve water, so it's important that we take these type of measures.
So he's going natural and putting in drought-tolerant plants native to California. To encourage residents to ditch their grass, several turf rebate programs are being offered. These organizations say the average lawn uses about 41,000 gallons of water a year, compared to 6,800 gallons a year for drought-tolerant plants. Councilman Goodrich says he went through bewaterwise.com.
Depending on where you live in Torrance and what water district you are, you can get paid $2 to $3 per square foot to replace your grass with native plants.
Councilman Goodrich says the rebate process is simple.
You have to measure your yard and come up with a number of square feet. That was really easy with a tape measure, and send in 5 pictures from varying angles. And within a couple of days, I had my approval, and then they give you 4 months to complete the work.
With his deadline fast approaching in mid-November, the councilman and his wife are working hard to transform their front yard. Luckily, he says the yard work hasn't been too time-consuming, and it's even sparked the interest of some of their neighbors.
First of all, they wondered why the grass was brown for so long, and I told them we were getting ready to do this big project. Don't worry, we're not going to have brown grass for the rest of our lives. After that, they're interested in doing it themselves now.
As water levels drop and calls to conserve rise, residents could be seeing more and more drought-friendly landscapes in their neighborhood. For Torrance City Cable, I'm Laura Fong.
Thanks, Laura. During the 2013-2014 fiscal year, South Bay residents used an average of 55,000 gallons of water per person. According to the West Basin Municipal Water District, the statewide average is 71,000 gallons per person per year. Be sure to check back with us next week. Laura will show us more ways to help the state's water conservation efforts when she visits El Camino College's drought workshop.
For now, we hope you have a pen and paper handy. Here's a few more noteworthy events to tell you about. On November 8th, the Kenneth Walker Dance Project will be at El Camino College's Marcy Auditorium. The Contemporary Ballet Company is a nonprofit organization performing throughout Los Angeles, as well as performances in New York, South Carolina, and Virginia this year.
South Bay City Council of Governments announced their annual free holiday light exchange, helping customers go green for the holidays. South Bay residents can trade in a working string of old electricity-guzzling incandescent holiday lights for a new energy-efficient LED string. The old strings turned in will be recycled as e-waste. This takes place on Thursday and Friday, November 13th and 14th at 9 a.m. Be sure to get there early.
And as we move toward the holidays, it's time to start planning those festive winter events. November 29th is the city's Holiday Boutique and Craft Village. The city stands for Community Inspiring Today's Youth, which offers a business development program for LA's youth with the goal of teaching them how to start and operate their own businesses.
A lot of great events for the month. Well, that does it for us on This Week in Torrance. I'm Chun. If you missed any portion of our show, you can catch us again at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Julie Chan. We'll see you next time.